Sorry for going a little overboard on the bell gong, but let us begin our worship together.
You are all invited to join in the singing of the Prelude. You may stand if you're comfortable standing. We will be singing "We Utter Our Cry."
Oh.
Can you hear me now? Yes. Thanks. Hi, you're all welcome to join in the singing of the Prelude. It is on page 137, "We Utter Our Cry." You all may all stand. I find it to be a little easier to sing standing. Thank you.
That was a new song for us. Good job, you guys.
All right. Together, right? For this part. Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here.
No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here.
You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes. You are welcome here.
No matter what you've experienced in the past, no matter what awaits in the future, you are welcome here.
Whether you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here.
This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands.
You are welcome here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. Good morning, everybody. My name is Zach. My pronouns are he, him, and his.
And I'm Brenda, and my pronouns are she and her.
We want to welcome everybody gathered here in the sanctuary, as well as those of you joining us online. This morning, our worship team is led by Brenda and I. Our Time for All Ages is going to be led by Rob Carlson. Our musician is John Allen. Hymn leader, Lisa Youngberg. Sound and streaming lead is Stephen Carter. And we have a South Valley story from Lynn Alexanderson.
Okay, a couple changes. Richard is on the sound. Thank you, Richard. And Scott's going to speak. Lynn isn't available today.
Sorry about that. All right, and all members of our worship team are fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and as of last week, we've made wearing masks optional here in the sanctuary. We'd like to extend an especially warm welcome to anyone here who might be joining us for the first time. We're very glad that you're here. If you'd like to get to know us better, we encourage you to fill out the connection card either in the virtual order of service or visit the welcoming table following worship today. If you missed the QR code at the front, you can also find that at the back on the inside of the hardback hymnals. We also have a religious exploration program for children and youth that meets weekly on Sundays during worship, and our director, Rob Carlson, is happy to answer any questions about that you may have following worship. And of course, there's always a lot happening at South Valley, and the Happenings weekly newsletter is the best way to stay up to date on all of that. So be sure to, if you haven't already, sign up for that in the link on the virtual order of service. A couple of announcements.
We have a big event coming up, and it will be the first time that we're gathering together here in the sanctuary to have a party, which we do really well. And so it will be the first time since the pandemic hit. So we're very excited, and it will be next Saturday, April, what is that, 2nd? April 2nd, 6 to 8. We've been supporting BIPOC people who own food trucks, who we've had out in the parking lot on Friday, Saturday, Sundays, so they'll be there tonight. So we will be supporting them by having our food from them, and there will be music, there could be dancing, it could happen. And so please do come to that, and that is our joyful celebration of the end of our pledge drive, which we're still in the middle of, and Scott will talk to us about that a little bit later. The next following Sunday, April 10th, is in the afternoon a congressional field trip to the Great Salt Lake, and where we'll hold witness and be with other congregations and pray for this amazing resource in our midst that is threatened. And we also take our offering this month to help with efforts with the Great Salt Lake. I want to also point out our gorgeous altar with our theme of weaving our tapestry of faith. The Prayer Shawl Ministry put together the altar today, and they do beautiful work where when we are having difficult times, suddenly there will be a warm, lovely blanket or shawl that appears in our life from the Prayer Shawl Ministry. So we really appreciate the work they do in this beautiful altar today. Opening hymn, huh? Okay. So we're going to stand again as you're willing and able and sing number 3, The World Stands Out on Either Side. We are having all new hymns today, so just go for it. Just try it. None of us know what we're doing, so yeah. Let's light the chalice. Is there a child who'd like to come help Zach light the chalice? Anybody want to run up here? Anybody? There's somebody. Come on up. Great, thank you. And we have words and we have movements to light our chalice. So if you want to join in all of that, in the order of service are the words. And as these guys do this, excellent. Okay. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action. Yes. The mask got in the way of blowing out the handle. Okay, have a seat.
All right, good morning, everybody. As we gather this morning, we do want to acknowledge that we do so on the ancestral and current homelands of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshute, and Ute tribes. As Unitarian Universalists, we acknowledge the complex and violent history that resulted in the stealing of these lands and the cultural and physical genocide perpetuated against its peoples at the hands and policies of white colonial settlers. We commit ourselves to undoing these harms, and we seek to authentically and with honesty engage in the necessary work that will produce justice for those disenfranchised and that promotes healing for the whole of the earth and its peoples. And as we begin our call to worship today, we also want to acknowledge many of the ongoing challenges that we have in our world. As we put together the altar the last few days, our hearts were and continue to be with the people of Ukraine as they continue their struggle against the unprovoked and baseless aggression of Vladimir Putin. Our hearts are also with the many Russian citizens who wish to be no part of this violence and have protested publicly and privately against war. The sunflowers on our altar, as well as the blues and yellows that we've used in our tapestry today, are symbolic of our care, and South Valley has also tried to make that care real in this world by contributing funds to humanitarian support as part of our recent collections. Today's also the final Sunday before Transgender Day of Visibility, which is March 31st. As many of you likely know, the Utah State Legislature recently passed a horrific bill which aims not to affirm and support our trans friends, but to isolate, attack them, and deny the very basis of their authentic living. So in light of such ongoing violence, it's more important than ever for communities such as ours to affirm, protect, and support our friends in the trans community, and remind them that even in moments such as these, that they are seen and that they are loved and that they're carried. And in that spirit, the theme of our worship today, as we've said a few times, is weaving our tapestry of faith. At South Valley, one of the core things that we try to affirm is the spiritual journey of the individual, the diverse backgrounds, beliefs, ways of meaning and being, and more that each of us bring to this community. But importantly, we also try to affirm the beauty that we can create collectively. If you need any evidence of that, I hope you'll take the time to check out the south side of the building, which is slowly becoming a community garden and meditation space. And many hands contributed this previous weekend, the last few days, to improve that. And already it's starting to look really beautiful and wonderful. Like all of us, it's still very much a work in progress, but I think for the first time in years, we can really see the potential of that space. So I just want to hold up everybody who has contributed to that in some way over the past few days. And that's really just one example of the many beautiful things that we're capable of in this community. And there really is a magic in weaving together our faith. And that's what we're trying to celebrate today. At this time, I'd like to invite Rob to take over for a moment to begin our story for all ages.
Thanks, Zach. Good morning again, church. So glad to see you all this morning. It's good to be together, and I am just especially glad whenever I am here and we hear the sounds and chatter of our young people in worship. And every sound, every giggle, every wiggle, every noise, every Lego that gets dropped, every clipboard that might hit the floor, the tears. These are all reminders that our congregation is vibrant and growing because of the presence of our young people. And at this time, I would like to invite any of our young people who would like to join me out front here in the center area, if you wish, for our story this morning. And the young at heart, please, you're all invited. Good morning. It's so good to see you all this morning. Good morning. Max. Hi, Max. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So good to see you all this morning. Well, welcome, and welcome back. This is kind of a short story this morning. Well, first of all, I should ask, how many of you have seen something that looks like this or this before? Yeah, a couple? What is this? What are these? You could say it. A loom? Yeah, this is also a loom. Yeah? Well, probably not today because it's part of our altar. We use them to make stuff with, though. And what are the things that we use looms to make? Yeah. To make fabric. Yeah. What else might we use that fabric for? What are we making when we use the loom? What do you think? I bet we could make a flag with a loom. What else? Yeah, and looms are used a lot of times to make clothes. When I think about how looms are used, I think about how long it must take to take ribbons like this and tiny threads like this and make something like this. I mean, even with all of the mechanics that go into how a loom works, how amazing is it that all of these individual threads are eventually going to turn into something like this? That's pretty amazing. And as I was thinking about this, I was also thinking about something that I really enjoy, which is being outside. I love being outside. I love seeing, especially here where we live, the mountains that are still covered with snow. I love seeing all of the beautiful trees and all of the nature that's around here. And that gets me to thinking, when I'm spending time outside, what creative energy could have possibly brought all of this beauty together? All of these rocks and trees and people and everything else that's part of this world. What kind of creative force could do something like that? I wonder about that. And so this story that I'm going to tell doesn't actually have any pictures. What I would like you to do during the story, if you're comfortable, is to close your eyes and to think about what the pictures might look like in your own mind as I'm reading this story. What does our story calls this creative force a weaver? So someone who weaves things together like this on looms. So as I'm reading this short kind of meditation story, I invite you to get comfortable where you are. You look pretty comfortable. And again, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you and think about what this weaver might look like. Beyond the earth, near yet far, the weaver sits in the light of the rising sun, singing a song, watching the world while her fingers are at work. First, she spins her thread from the trails of shooting stars, white clouds, and spider webs. Then she dyes the thread with the colors of the morning: blue from the sky, green from the grass, yellow from the sun and the fields, purple from the deep water. As the sun rises high in the sky, her fingers work faster, and the shuttle begins to fly back and forth across her loom. Looking down on the world, the weaver sees a smile on someone's face, a hug between friends, babies crying, then held warm in their parents' arms, children laughing, a kiss given with love, a heart that is full. She weaves all of these things into her cloth, a cloth of friendships, of love intertwined, happy, sad, angry, joyful, lives held together like vines. The sun is setting, and the weaver's work is almost done. Gently, she lifts the cloth from her loom and begins to dance over mountains and rivers and towns, over cities and countries and the deep ocean. As she dances, she spreads the cloth like a coat across the night sky. The stars and the moon are its buttons, and the pockets are filled with our memories. It drifts down to the earth below, a coat to warm us and protect us, a coat to fill us with joy. And as it settles around us, we dream in our beds while the moon glows above. And the weaver dances back to her home, far above the world. Where's what? Where is her home? That is a good question. Where is the weaver's home? What are some things that you imagined during this story about what the weaver is like, or what the weaver is doing, or where home might be for the weaver? What kinds of pictures did you see in your mind? A cave? Ooh, nice. What else? A mountain? Yeah, that's what I see too. Evolution, stardust, that dust that we are all a part of and that makes up us. Yes, I love it. I love it. One of the wonderful things about the creative forces at work in our world is that there is always this bit of mystery, right? We don't have all of the answers. The amount of answers we have to some of the creative forces in the world aren't many, right? I think she might live in a house. The weaver might live in a house. What do you think, Leo? The Big Bang. Oh, calling the world into being. I love it. These are all such wonderful answers. And what I love about these answers is that it kind of speaks to what I mentioned about there being kind of this mystery in the world. And I think the mystery of creation, of our world, is something that keeps us wondering, right? Yeah. Oh, you notice that she made this blanket, and it seems like after all of the dancing and all of those things, she may be recreating this blanket or whatever it is over and over and over again throughout time. Wow. I love all of the ways that you have made me think about this story in new ways. Thank you for spending some time with me this morning. And now, for those of you who would like, Grace and I are going to have some activities outside in the backyard. And so if you would like to join us for that on this beautiful day, you may follow us. We'll go downstairs, we'll go around this way through this staircase over here.
I want to go outside. Gall. As the kids head down those stairs and we hear their voices, we think about our community and our church and its many ministries in the world made possible by the gifts that we all give of our time and our talent and our treasure. And many of us pledge monthly to support this church, and for that we are glad. Part of our ministry is also sharing our Sunday gathering of worship offerings with an organization that aligns with our principles and values. And so this month is the Friends of the Great Salt Lake, who will be joining on April 10th to find out more about what they do. They've been around since the mid-90s, trying to take care of the Great Salt Lake. Our offering words are in the orders of service, and let's say them together. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts.
Beautiful as always. Thank you so much for that. And to everyone here, for all that we've received and all that we've found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful. And may these offerings be a blessing both to our church and the Friends of the Great Salt Lake. At this time, I'd like to invite Scott Renshaw to come speak for a moment on the pledge drive and our community.
Yes, good morning. I am Scott Renshaw. My pronouns are he, him, and his. And I'm not Lynn Alexanderson, who had hoped to be here. She has a non-COVID cold and had to bow out. And I've already given my South Valley story earlier in this time. So I'm going to briefly tell you another story. It's the story of a pledge drive coordinator who has spent the last month trying to pull this across the finish line, who will be spending all day today preparing to host an Academy Awards party and doesn't have the time to start hassling people, and who will be preparing to do all the things necessary to make the party that Brenda told you about, the big event next Saturday, possible, and would love not to be spending that time sending emails and making calls. So if you have some compassion for this person in this story, I'm not asking you to act out of guilt, but out of love. If you have not had the opportunity to submit your pledge yet, now is a wonderful time to do so. You can do so online via our Breeze database. There's been information sent out on our website. You can find out about that from me afterwards. I also have hard copies of this for those who are technologically challenged, no excuses. For those who are at home, you can go to svus.breezechms.com and look under forms. So we ask that you please take this opportunity to finalize. Thank you, all of you who have pledged so far. We're doing wonderfully. We are approaching topping last year, but we still have a ways to go to meet our goal. So thank you again. For those of you who have any questions, please find me afterwards, and I appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Scott. I think we now have a little insight into your parenting skills and how you raise such great kids. Not by guilt, but by love. From Reverend Elizabeth Tarbox, from the UUA Tapestry of Faith Adult Religious Education Series. Hollow bones, streamlined feathers, and wings shaped to push aside this viscosity of air are not what makes birds fly. Birds let go of their grasp on safe perches at the tops of trees because something calls to them. They unfold their untried wings and feel an unimagined power. They soar out, up, and through the winter sky because an ancient longing pulls them home. Loosed from the sticky grasp of earth, free from the snarls of lesser creatures with daggers in their teeth and muscles in their legs, birds laugh upward, homeward, drawn by a calling which bids them welcome in the sky. Bird, take me with you when you go. Not my lumbering body and knitted tissue, no. Take some other me home with you, some invisible soul of me that hears the call you hear, that moves effortlessly with you through the bright pink silk of dawn and the warm butter spread of morning. Carry my longing to be weightless, to move as light moves, to be unseen, scattered through time and space. Teach me to trust my wings. And from the UUA Spirit in Practice Adult Religious Education Series, she'd had enough. After many years in a congregation, she'd had enough. Knowing the people as well as she did, she knew that what they said on Sunday and what they did on Monday did not always equate. More often than not, Sunday was the one day of the week on which you could tell people believed what they said they did. The rest of the week, she could see little difference between other members of the congregation and the hypocrites they denounced. And the words of the hymns no longer spoke to her. They talked of things she had long ago given up believing, or were words that had no real meaning in her life. And the sermons weren't much better, entertaining perhaps, sometimes giving her something to think about, but a good book or an independent film could do the same. And besides, she'd had to go when she was a kid and when her kids were young, but now? No, she'd had enough. So she began walking in the woods on Sunday mornings, alone with her thoughts and the rustling leaves. She felt a freedom she had not known in a long time. She got more from the sunshine than from a year of sermons, and the birds surpassed any anthem she'd ever heard. This was good. This was right. The woods were her sanctuary. The wind was all the preaching she needed. And this continued for some time, till one day she realized that the birds sang together and the trees swayed as one, but she was by herself. No squirrel cared that she had a new grandchild. No rhododendron could help her wrestle with her mother's Alzheimer's. The flora and fauna did not face what she faced as a human, and so could not offer their understanding, nor could she really offer herself to them. So she returned to her congregation. And she saw herself in the people who were trying to live what they believed. And she heard her life in the hymns and the readings and the sermons, or at least some of them. And she never gave up her walks in the woods, but she realized she needed both.
I liked that one a lot. that got me on a pretty deep level, I think. I think, and that spirit of needing both of those things, I think, is what kind of led us to attempt this today. And so we're going to try something. I think we've done this once before, a few years ago. But what we're trying to do here is try to do a ritual of weaving, of kind of making real some of those things that all of you have shared on your ribbons, and we're going to try to weave them here within our 8 principles, our 7 principles, and our proposed 8th principle as well. So everyone gathered here today is invited to join us in our ritual of weaving. Those that are joining in our virtual community had been asked previously to share their hopes to be shared on the ribbons, which we've added here already. And the vertical ribbons, I'll just briefly read. Each of these, the vertical ribbons represent our 7 principles and our proposed 8th principle. The first one being that we believe that each and every person is important. The second one being that we believe that all people should be treated fairly and kindly. The third, we believe that we should accept one another and keep on learning together. Fourth, that we believe that each person must be free to search for what is true and right in life. Fifth, we believe that all persons should have a vote about the things that concern them. 6, we believe in working for a peaceful, fair, and free world. 7, we believe in caring for our planet Earth, the home we share with all other living things. And finally, the proposed 8th principle, we believe in creating an inclusive community that values diversity. So I think what we're going to do, and we'll try to make this work out, all of you that are gathered here in body are invited at this point to approach the altar. I think we'll try to have a line that weaves, see what I did there, around the side here. And what I'd like you to do is, when it's your turn, read to us your ribbon if you'd like. And once you've completed reading it, we're going to try to weave them together. And as you can see, it's a little bit, they might fall, they might, weaving together our faith isn't perfect. So we're just going to stick with that. But hopefully it'll be a meaningful ritual for us all. So everybody who would like to do that, if you'd like to line up on your left here as well. Just, yeah, a few at a time would be fine.
Sean will play lightly behind us.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
More and more beloved community.
Peace, hope, and understanding.
Hope for renewal of fellowship, social activism without mass, and spiritual growth.
Unconditional love and acceptance for trans youth.
May we break down barriers to love.
Peace and good mental, spiritual, and physical health for all.
Peace and understanding.
Connection, understanding, and love.
Get my sunglasses.
Peace, end of authoritarian rule, end of autocrats and war.
Love will prevail and heal.
Peace on earth.
Healthy food, clean water, clean electricity,
love one another and ship all the guns and weapons to the planet Pluto.
My ribbon has no words on it. It's written in the visible ink. So, since the 1970s, Tornado Ondo and Dawn, the yellow ribbon has been a sign of welcoming. Keep welcoming.
Love and peace.
Kindness and equality for transgender youth.
Respect for all, solutions for fossil fuel independence, and care for Earth and all people.
For the beauty of our community and growth, as well as for the beauty of our climate.
Getting excited to gather again.
Yes.
Learning to accept those around us without judgment. And from my son, I hope for less pollution.
Healing, especially for disadvantaged communities. And for my son, help with the climate, again, pollution.
To be better friends with the friends that I have.
I know a lot of you don't know me, but I was one of the original 25 here with Lee Polivoy when we started this congregation. So I wish for growth of this congregation so there'll be more people on the committees.
Marilyn Smith sent in peace on earth, especially in Ukraine.
We need more love and more rainbows.
Ellen sends her love virtually.
All right. What a colorful tapestry we've created. Look at that. Now I just want everybody to just take a moment. We'll just have maybe a minute of silent meditation just on everything that's been shared in this space. So we'll begin that now. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your faith and your hopes with our community. And this time I'd like to invite Lisi and John do we have another? Sorry if we missed something.
Extinguished Chalice?
Oh, I think, okay, yes. Sorry, we'll do our closing hymn. Are we ready for that? Sorry. All right.
Trigger warning on this hymn. When I was picking the music and going through our hymnal, I was really excited to see this hymn with the music by Vaughan Williams, who's one of my favorite composers. This hymn does come from a very religious tradition, so I picked this for the music and wanting to just reclaim it in a safe space, and so I don't mean this personally to be pushing any kind of religious message, even though the text might suggest otherwise. So I suggest that we sing it with celebrating the individual and our community here, and letting that be what we celebrate through this song. For all the saints, 1, 2, and 4, please.
Uh, 103, page 103, we're singing verses 1, 2, and 4.
Thy
Thanks, John. We're glad to reclaim something for you. Thank you. Everyone, please stay standing as we extinguish our chalice and we say the words that are in the order of service, and again with our actions. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action, and we hold each other in our hearts until we meet again.
Feel free to join me, number 411, Part in Peace.
That concludes our service for today. You are all welcome to join us in the social hall afterwards. Go in peace today, and remember that you are an important thread of this community. Thank you so much. I like how this turned out. I want a picture. That was fun.